The earliest maps of the American colonies were essentially combat documents. They tracked a relentless, violent push into the interior, fueled by an insatiable hunger for land that often outweighed the high-minded philosophies of the era. Every time the western border moved forward, it triggered a massive increase in internal pressure. Each expansion changed the political math of the country, creating a fault line that threatened to tear the states apart. You can see this tension clearly in the French and Indian War. While often framed as a clash between empires, it was specifically a bloody struggle to control the geographic resources of the Ohio River Valley. When the British later tried to tap this expansion with the Proclamation Line of 1763, they essentially told the land-hungry colonists that the frontier was closed. The resulting outrage helped push the colonies toward open revolt. The American Revolution was driven by more than just taxes or theories on representation. It was ignited by this geographic restriction, proving that the urge to expand was baked into the country's founding DNA. With the Louisiana Purchase in 1803, the United States doubled in size, shifting the country's center of gravity irreversibly away from the coast. This vast acquisition birthed the idea of manifest destiny, the conviction that claiming the entire continent was an unavoidable political necessity. This map shows the dense, winding river networks in the western portion of the continent. To secure this claim, the government sent the Lewis and Clark expedition to document these geographic realities and map a path to the Pacific. This purchase moved the United States past its origins as a coastal experiment, setting the stage for a continental empire with an appetite for even more land. Realizing this map required a systematic clearing of the territory. The government viewed the sovereign Native American tribes established in the East as obstacles to be removed from the board. The Indian Removal Act and the subsequent Trail of Tears were an engineering project of forced displacement. Tens of thousands of indigenous people were marched west to clear valuable agricultural land for American settlement. To the southwest, the government provoked the Mexican-American War to settle border disputes by force, aggressively seizing the Texas and California territories to round out the map. While the map now looked triumphant, these rapid land acquisitions had created a political ticking time bomb. The country had to decide who would actually control these new resources. By the mid-19th century, every new territory added to the map sparked a crisis. Would these lands be admitted as free states, or would they allow the expansion of slavery? In Kansas, this dispute turned into a local civil war. Radical abolitionists like John Brown took up arms, believing that only violence could stop the pro-slavery factions from claiming the new territory. These localized fights over the map eventually shattered the compromises in Congress. When the political math failed, the nation collapsed into the Civil War. The resulting conflict cost hundreds of thousands of lives, with battlefields like this one showing the absolute cost of the country's geographic and moral divide. Because the map had grown faster than the nation's political framework could handle, the expansion itself made the war inevitable. By 1860, there were no more geographic compromises left to make. After the Union's victory, the 13th, 14th, and 15th Amendments officially changed the legal fabric of the country. They abolished slavery and made the promise of equal citizenship a matter of constitutional law. Despite the carnage of the war, the hunger for continental control didn't slow down. If anything, the drive to fully settle the West accelerated. The Transcontinental Railroad became the final tool to bind the coasts together. Its construction finalized the defeat of native sovereignty and opened the remaining frontier to industrial-scale settlement. The railroad acted as a new nervous system for the country. It stitched together a single connected continental economy where Western raw materials could reach Eastern ports in days instead of months. In 1877, a disputed election brought the country to another breaking point. The government was desperate to maintain the unity of this new continental map after the trauma of the war. To secure that unity, the government made a dark compromise. They pulled federal troops out of the South and abandoned Reconstruction, effectively trading the civil rights of Black Americans for national political stability. The American map, stretching from sea to shining sea, was forged through that trade-off. It remains a geography unified by a century of violent conquest and the calculated moral compromises used to hold it together.